Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Gbay99, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. If you could not already tell by the length of this video, this is not one of my normal videos and not one of my normal dailies. What I did was, last night, I had, for some reason, a very sudden inspiration to get really nostalgic. I love history. History has been, I'm going to try to keep this intro short, but I love history. History has always been my favorite subject in school, and I always find it very interesting when you learn about someone's past, when you learn about a pro player's past, what games they played to sort of shape them into the person that they are, and lead them to League of Legends. Same with any streamer, any YouTuber, learning about the past of players out there, you know, learning Rekful was anti-Perazi and Ashron's Call, learning that this guy played this game and did this, and all this stuff, learning Snoopy played EVE Online and did all sorts of cool stuff with that. There's a lot of really interesting histories out there of players and the games that they've played before, and I sort of want to just give you guys my history, because I do think that some of the games that I played and the way that I played them, the people that I met, all sort of led me to be the person I am today, and I wanted to share that with you guys. This is a highlight from a stream I did telling you all last night, so I hope you guys are able to get some popcorn, kick back, maybe play a game of League, and enjoy listening to the tale of how I became Gbay99. Enjoy. When I first started, let's go all the way back to the beginning. I first learned about video games back when I was in school, when I was in Montessori school in 2nd grade. I had this one friend named Sam who introduced me to the computer games Pajama Sam. I don't know if any of you guys played Pajama Sam when you were kids, but those series of games were the first 3 games, the original trilogy, were the first 3 games I ever played. Thunder and Lightnings, Not So Frightening, No Need Tide When It's Dark Outside, and You Are What You Eat From Your Head to Your Feet. Those 3 games were the bomb to me, and those were actually what introduced me to video games. I started playing video games with those. There are speedruns you can find on YouTube of the games being completed in like 2 minutes, I think, is the fastest that some of the games are completed, but I would just spend hours and hours trying to solve the puzzle, just looking at the beautiful pixel art, and those introduced me to video games. I started getting a lot more interested in games. I remember very specifically the next game I got interested in was Sly Cooper. I went to Walmart with my mother to shop for groceries, and at the front of the place there was a PlayStation 2 and the first level of the first game of Sly Cooper. I think the game was recently released at that time. I'm not too sure what the release date was. Sly Cooper release date. Sly Cooper game. They're making a movie out of it, aren't they? Sly Cooper. First game was released September 23rd, 2002. That sounds about right. I remember very specifically, I went up to it and I thought, like, this is the first console game. I got really excited about it, and I asked my mom to give me a PS2 and give me the game for Christmas. And I did. I still have my PlayStation 2 somewhere down here in the basement. I played a lot of games on the PS2. Sly Cooper Trilogy for one, obviously. I played Madden NFL 2003, NFL Street, NFL Street and NFL Street 2, if any of you guys remember those games, any of you who played sports games, and I played some of Spyro, a lot of the great games on the PlayStation. The PlayStation 2 is probably my favorite gaming system of all time. But moving on a little bit, there were 2 games that influenced me, unlike any other games that I played, and probably any other games that I will ever play, just because I was so young when I first played them and when I first had experiences with them. And it wasn't just the games themselves, but sort of the environment that I played the games in. But let me just go ahead and tell you guys. So I went to Montessori school, which is like a super Catholic school, but then they banned the Harry Potter books, and my parents realized like things were getting a little bit crazy. These people were a little insane, so they put me in public school. And my first year in public school, 3rd grade, I didn't have any friends at all, because I just, I actually don't even know why. I didn't have any friends in 3rd grade, but in 4th grade and 5th grade, I made 2 friends. In 4th grade, I made this friend called Garrett, who introduced me to Halo. Garrett was friends with this one kid named Jake, Wheelchair Jake. I've mentioned him on stream before, where he would bring his Xbox over to Jake's house, and Jake also had an Xbox. Jake had 2 TVs in the basement, and he would system link the consoles. We would get 16 people together, and then they would all play Halo, and then play football in the front yard, and it would be an absolute... It would be awesome. It would be so fun. He invited me to go over, and I remember the very first time I went over, there were 18 people there, I think. There were a bunch of kids who were even younger than us. We were in 4th grade at the time, 4th or 5th grade. And then there were kids from like 2nd and 3rd grade, all the way to like 18, 19, 20-year-olds who were all there, and all playing Halo. I remember the first time I played Halo, it was actually Halo 2. I thought it was Halo 1 at the time, but it was Halo 2. I played on, I forget what map it was, but there was this one friend there who I had actually known from Montessori school. His name was, let's call him Bill. Let's not use his real name because I'm actually about to trash talk him a little bit here. But Bill was pretty bad at video games, okay? We all have the friend who's like not super athletic, not super coordinated, and kind of stupid. He's pretty bad at video games, and because he was bad and I had never played a shooter before, they decided that the best way to introduce me to the game would be to 1v1 him. But there was a Halo 2 map. Oh, shoot. I forget which one it was. But, was it Backwash? No. Halo 2 map. Whatever. It was the map with the huge beach and then the structure in the middle. I forget the name of it specifically, but the best way they thought to introduce me to the game, because I had never played a shooter before, was to 1v1 Bill on that map. So, what happened was I started off doing really well. And I remember very specifically, there was a moment that it was 13 kills to 8. And I was crushing him. It was 1st to 15. It actually might have been 1st to 20, but then it ended at 15 because the time limit ran out. But what ended up happening was Bill then found where the rocket launcher spawned, and I had no idea how to deal with that. I couldn't 4-shot him in the head with a BR, so in the end he ended up coming back just by using rocket launcher over and over, killing me, and I got so frustrated. I was so salty. I lost 15 to 14. And he went up to shake my hand after, and I gave the angriest handshake that I ever did. This little fourth grade Gbay99 experiencing his first loss and his first bout of saltiness in a video game. I lost to him, and then we just kept on playing. I remember afterwards we played a bunch of in-house matches, 4v4, where we would always end up on separate teams, and I would always make sure I got a better score than him to sort of prove to myself that I was a better player than him in my eyes. So I was very excited about it because that was the first time that I really experienced any emotion towards a video game. Back, before then I had only really played single-player games. I had never really experienced multiplayer games. There was a point where I got to see some friends and they introduced me to Star Wars Battlefront, which was an amazing game for me at the time. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, but I don't know why. I never ended up getting it myself until I was like much older. Much older. So it was really the first time that I had experienced that, and I would always play, always play every single time. It was every Friday and every weekend. We would always go over to Jake's house, and we would always play with like 10 people, 8 people at the minimum. We never had less than 8 people, I feel. We would always play football in the front yard and then go play Halo, and I would do my best to try and become the best out of my friends. I wanted to become the best, and I loved the game so much that for the next Christmas, I asked my mother if she could give me an Xbox and a Halo, and I had to convince her so much because I was their first child, and my parents thought, a video game where you shoot people, that's ridiculous. We're not going to let our 8-year-old son, however old I was at the time, 10-year-old son, play something like that, something so violent. But eventually, I wore them down. They got me an Xbox, and they got me Halo and Halo 2. I remember going to bed that night, that Christmas night, and thinking, I was so excited because I thought to myself, video games are so fun, and I get better at stuff by doing it over and over. So all I have to do is play Halo a bunch, and I'll get better than all my friends. And I kept on, I would practice, I would work really hard, and I ended up being like the 2nd to 3rd best out of all our friends. I think I never really dominated everyone the way 2 of our friends did, but I was either the 2nd or 3rd best out of our big group of 8 to 16, 20 people. So that was the first game that really taught me about multiplayer things in general. But it was probably Halo was probably the second most influential game. I played that all throughout elementary school, all throughout middle school, and I'm pretty sure the beginning of high school too. But we eventually stopped playing, which is a little bit sad. Yeah, so that was the first game that really influenced my gaming career, as it were. But the second game was the big one. The second game I got introduced in 5th grade. I remember very specifically. 5th grade, at homeroom, before we all went home, before we all got on the bus with our little backpacks to go home. We were like 10 years old at the time. How old are you when you're in 5th grade? I think like 10, 9 or 10. And this other friend, Tony, came up to me, and we were talking about video games. I knew Tony from playing Halo with those friends. He was part of that group. And he said, he said, have you ever played an MMO before? And I said, no. So he says to me, you should try this one game. When you get home, download it, or you don't have to download it. I asked if I had to download it or something. He was like, no, you just play it through your browser. It's called Runescape. And I said, okay, I'll go home. And then I made an account on Runescape, and it asked me for a username. My real name is Nathaniel. I always just used the hash or the gamer tag Nate whenever we played in. I would be 11 at the time. Okay, yeah. I just used the gamer tag Nate whenever we played Halo, so this was the first time I actually had to come up with a gamer tag of my own. So I came up with Gbay because I've been a really big fan of the Green Bay Packers, which is a NFL football team, American football, NFL football team. And I've always been a huge fan of the Green Bay Packers, so I thought, Gbay, that sounds pretty cool. That's a cool 4-letter word where it's not like Prince of Darkness XX 420 or anything like that. It's just a pretty simple thing that isn't like a word that's often taken, and it's something I can build an identity around. Gbay was already taken, though, so I added a 99 to the end of it because I thought if I have to add numbers to it, 99 is like, 99 looks cool enough to add rather than like 1993 or 2012. Some people add the year that they're born, some people add the year that they graduate after. I wanted it to be simple and clean looking. So yeah, I didn't know about 420 back in the day, you know what I mean. I didn't have to have a bunch of X's and numbers and symbols just to get a name that I want. But I made Gbay99, and I first started playing RuneScape. And I'm sure you guys remember, RuneScape was the bomb back then. I'm pretty sure this was 2006, 2005, 2004, 2005, 2006. That was when I first started playing RuneScape. And that was really when the game was in its prime. Everyone loved the game. Like, just looking at these pictures. I'm sure any of you who played RuneScape, just looking at these pictures will give you so much nostalgia. I remember when they added all these skills. I first started playing right after they added rune crafting, and then Slayer, farming, construction, hunter, and then summoning and dungeoneering. I all remember the release of. But so yeah, I'm sure I could figure out the exact date that I started playing. But I just got hooked on this game. I had never experienced a game like this, an MMO for one, but a persistent world, a persistent virtual world, and I loved leveling up. That was something that I absolutely adored. I loved the idea that the same way I thought about it with Halo, I loved the idea of being able to do something over and over and then get better at it with practice. I have no idea why, but that idea has stuck with me all my life, and I'm pretty sure RuneScape has something to do with it, and one of the reasons that I really, I'm really intense with it. I thought RuneScape was just the coolest. The PvP in RuneScape was so awesome too, because any of you who play RuneScape know, or who played RuneScape know, the fact that you lost all your items on death was so exciting, was so cool. You know, the fact that you could kill someone and then take all of their items because you killed them. And then you would always just, if you got killed and you were about to respawn in Lumbridge, you would always say, noob, right before you died, and it's like you get the last word in right as some guy's about to take all your stuff. Pretend like he got lucky in being able to kill you. Not that he outplayed you or anything. But the fact that there were like special attacks, there were ways to, theoretically, to kind of outplay someone, but the PvP was mostly RNG. But there's a lot of really cool PvP stuff in RuneScape that I got pretty attached to, like Clan Wars and not Clan Wars yet, Castle Wars. But I did get really excited about the idea of joining a clan, too. Clans in RuneScape were not... I think later on, Jagex, the guys that made RuneScape, they eventually, like, added stuff in for clans. I think right now clans can, like, get houses, that you have clan chats, you have stuff like that. And clan stuff is pretty commonplace nowadays, but back then, this was the first time I'd ever experienced any sort of guild, any sort of clan, any sort of team. But after I started getting good enough, when I hit combat level 80, combat level 70, 80, I got all my stats up to be pretty high level, and I started leveling up. Like my skills looked pretty much very similar to this guy. I didn't do Slayer often, but I had like really high skills for everything else, especially combat, because I thought combat was really fun and really easy to do. Prayer was really expensive to level, and so was magic. But eventually I started looking for a clan, and I tried to create my own clan for a while. I tried to do a bunch of different things with clans, but eventually I stumbled upon this one team, this one clan called Knight's Reflection that I applied for. I went through the application process. It was like it was so funny and cute and nostalgic looking back on it now, thinking about it. Like, we're all just 10 to 16-year-olds trying to run this organization, and I actually found on the Internet Archive website thing, this is the website. Oh my goodness, this website right here. This was our website and what it looked like. It was a when it started off, when I first joined, it was you had to be level 70 combat. There was no difference between free-to-play, pay-to-play combat, because summoning wasn't introduced yet. It was just flat level 70 combat. I noticed they had a positive win record with their wars, and I thought it was just the most exciting thing. I thought the website looked so professional. All the people seemed super cool, and I applied and I ended up joining. If you actually look at the member list, right here you can see, these are the Guardians, the Knight's Reflection Guardians, and you can see me right there, Gbay99. I have 1,749 forum posts, and I had a picture. Actually, I have that picture right here. This was the profile I used, and this was the getup that I had in RuneScape. I had a tan Cavalier because I thought it looked cool as fuck, green everything because I'm Gbay, Green Bay Packers. I was a Ranger, which I loved being a Ranger. Snakeskin boots, Guthix body, Guthix hide body, and a short magic bow. I was, damn dude, I thought I looked the coolest, and I thought it was such an exciting experience. I think range was pretty much at the same level as every other skill that I had at the time, every other combat skill. I had 70 attack, 70 strength, 70 defense, and 70 range. My magic was like 65 or something. But then, for some reason, at some point, I wanted to get 99 range. I thought range suddenly, for some reason, I don't even know why, but I just thought range was the coolest. You know, Legolas in Lord of the Rings is the coolest character out of them all. We actually had a guy in our... I don't know, he was one of the leaders. It doesn't look like he's on the leaders right here. 2011, I think he had already left. He was Aragorn. Like, there were a bunch of people that loved being tanks, that loved being maxing out strength and hitting for huge damage. A lot of people who loved just the basic combat. But I loved range for some reason, and then decided I wanted to get 99 range. And for any of you who didn't play RuneScape, you never played it, to get 99 in a skill, you have to get 13, it's like 12.8 million experience. And every time you kill one creature, you get like 50 experience, 100 experience, 300 experience at most. And it takes, you know, 10 seconds to kill a creature. So this was a major commitment to just farm creatures like this over and over. But I started a topic on this site called Following Blues M&M's Steps That was this guy right here, Blues M&M. I looked up to this guy like he was a god because he had 99 range, and I thought he was so cool. I thought he was like the coolest guy in my mind for some reason. I don't even know why looking back, but he was like a very cool. He was really good at range. He was really good at PvP. He was a very shadowy figure who didn't like talk all the time. He wasn't staff. He wasn't admin or leader. He wasn't on council, organizer, warlord. He wasn't any of that. But he was so good at PvP, and he was. I have no idea why. He didn't talk on the forums a lot. He didn't do anything, but he had 99 range, and I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. So I made a post titled "Following Blues M&M Steps," and then from level 71 all the way to level 99. I would post every time I leveled up in that. It was like under an accomplishments thread in the forums where you could share every time you leveled up. God, looking at these names, I remember all these people. It's pretty great, honestly. Here's this was the Elite Guardians. There was the Guardians and the Elite Guardians. The war heroes, warlords, organizers, council, leaders, founders. They eventually added legends. I was always salty because they never put me as a legend until they found out about my YouTube channel, and then found out that I was like a person on the internet. Then they put me as legend, but they didn't put me as legend until then. But God, this is so nostalgic. Were any of you guys RuneScape players? Yeah, AOL. Like, this is so long ago, it feels, but yeah, anyway, so I decided I wanted to get 99 range. I farmed at Yaks. You guys know Yaks if you played RuneScape in the Fremnik Isles. The Yaks in RuneScape were, for some reason, a really good place. I don't even know why, but for some reason they were a really good place to farm for range, because I think that they were really susceptible to bronze knives, and bronze knives were like a really quick way to kill things. So killing things quickly and efficiently was the best way to get 99 range. You had to complete a quest to get to this area, so not everyone did. Here's actually a really good map of it all. Right here, there were these rock crabs that were also really susceptible to range attacks, and all the plebs would farm at the rock crabs. All the plebs would farm rock crabs to get 99 range. I never killed a rock crab in my life. I went to Fremnik Isles, which is right there. This is really blurry. Fremnik Isles, which is right over there. That's where the rock crabs were. I went to Fremnik Isles. I made sure I did the Fremnik Trials quest and then Fremnik Isles quest, and then went to Yaks, and I just farmed those Yaks all day, and I kept on moving forward. I eventually hit 80 range, eventually hit 90 range, eventually hit 92 range, and then 92 is a really scary level, because 92, you're halfway to 99. To level up from level 1 to 92 is about 6 million experience in total, and then level 92 to 99 is the other 6 million. So, level 92 I got really scared because I was like, fuck, I've been playing this game for 2 years, 3 years. Am I ever going to hit 99 range? I'm only halfway there. But I stuck with it. I had always given up on a lot of stuff in life, and I had sort of started to realize that about myself. I played basketball in middle school, but I gave that up after I got kicked out of the tryouts or cut from the tryouts. I played football, but then quit because actually because I couldn't find a helmet that was big enough for my head for some reason. I've always been really tall. I'm 6'4". I was way too big of a kid to fit into the equipment for football. But I had really hated myself for quitting all the sporting activities that I had always used to do. So for some reason I stayed focused and went all the way to 99 range. And then in Camelot, any of you RuneScape players know in Camelot there's the stone pillars with like the really weird looking symbol. I think it's used for a quest or something, but in Camelot next to the lake there's the stone pillars with the weird looking symbol on the ground. I took an XP lamp March 24th, 2009 on my birthday. I went there, used an XP lamp, and got 99 range. I had posted it to the forums and then went to school. This was middle school. I woke up at like 3 a.m. I mean, I loved RuneScape. I literally woke up from between 1 to 3 a.m. most days just so I could go downstairs, try and sneak downstairs without waking my parents up, and get on the computer, and then just play RuneScape for 6 hours before school started. My parents would always come down, see me on the computer. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just checking some emails, you know, every single morning. Oh yeah, I just woke up early so I could check some emails. Every time they went down, I would exit out of RuneScape and then just pull up my email and be like, yeah, see, I got some message from Tony saying that we want to do whatever, you know, make up some lie. But I would play RuneScape for hours on end. I loved that game for some reason. I don't even know why. And as I hit 99 range, I participated more and more often in clan wars. I finally got over shyness to, like, speak to some of my other members. I remember one of them sounded exactly like Wicked. But in 2009, I hit 99 range, and when I hit 99 range, I'm pretty sure I was like one of the top 1,000 rangers in all of RuneScape. I actually kept on farming X for a while afterwards, so I could get my experience higher and higher, and eventually break the 1,000 barrier and be one of the top 1,000 rangers in RuneScape. There were like 6 or 7 people that had the max amount of XP, which was like 99 million or something. But I kept on playing for a while. Because I really wanted, for some reason, I wanted to be known as the best. I wanted to be the best ranger in all of RuneScape. I wanted to be the best ranger in all my clan. I wanted to, I don't know. It was really, looking back on it now, it seems so silly and trivial, but damn, I love this game, man. This was really, really fun. The time that I spent with these people, now that I'm looking at the website, keeps on coming up in my head, and I remember it all. I remember there was like a debate forum here, and there's this one guy. He was on council for a really long time. I guess right here, 2011 is after he quit. But he was on council for a really long time, and his name was Fishman24, and he was the most liberal son of a bitch that would always make all these posts on the debate forum talking about how we should legalize weed and legalize cocaine and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I would always argue with him. And to be honest, I think one of the reasons I'm really good at arguing today is because I took part in so many quote-unquote debates on our clan's forum. It was so fun. God damn. Just looking back, I remember all these guys. Karma Lord, I made a signature for him. Racer 033, I remember him. Sky Shadow, I thought he had the coolest name, Sky Shadow. And Oh My Me. Oh My Me was like the highest level. He was always 126, hit 138 when summoning came out. He was one of our founders and like our highest level. Ah, damn, man, this was so fun. But yeah, anyway. Legalize cocaine, the original 420er. Yeah, really. He, all these people influenced my life in all these different ways. It was really fun. Bloody Hib, too, I remember him. I remember a lot of these guys. And actually, Fishman, the guy that I would always argue with, added me on League of Legends when they found out that I became a guy on League. There's one point in, like, 2013 where I just got a rush of nostalgia. I always get really nostalgic during the spring, and I'll tell you why in a second, which is the next part of the story, but during the spring there was one moment where I was like, damn, I wonder if anyone's still on the old Knights Reflection forums. I came here, saw that there was a knightsreflection.com that they had moved to. I went there, and then I saw in a chat box, they had linked my YouTube, and they were like, damn, is this the Gbay99 that got 99 range? And I was like, holy shit, they remember me. These guys remember me. I added a few of them on League. They were like bronze, silver, and gold plebs, but yeah, good times, right? But anyway, moving on in the story, let's not get sidetracked here. So I hit 99 range. I got up to the top 1,000 rangers in all of RuneScape back when RuneScape had however many million players, which was a pretty big accomplishment for me, I think. I hit 99 range, and then I thought to myself, you know, this is really fun. This is really fun playing a video game, trying to get better at it as time goes on. But at the time, RuneScape was starting to get a little bit messed up. There was the Falador. It was like 2007, 2008 when they introduced the trade limits. There was a big riot in Falador where all the players like crashed a server. I want to say, Falador riot. Or Falador Massacre, that's what they called it. The Falador Massacre. What? I completely forget. Okay, the RuneScape wiki will tell us. Yeah, there's a Falador Massacre. The World 111 glitch, or the Great Falador Riot, the 666 Massacre, was an infamous glitch and subsequent violation of the bug abuse rule that occurred in. Oh no, this is different than the one I was thinking of. I was thinking when they rioted in Falador for the when they introduced trade limits. RuneScape players rioted a lot. It seems so trivial now. But yeah. Anyway. So, RuneScape had introduced me to a lot of stuff. RuneScape had introduced me to the concept of like getting better at a game as time goes on, working on getting better as a game, you know, over and over, training something over and over to get better at it. And it also introduced me to YouTube. This was like 2006, 2007. When I first started playing, and as I kept on playing, I got more and more interested in YouTube because YouTube was becoming actually a pretty interesting, oddly big thing for the RuneScape community. There's one guy who now plays League of Legends called Gross Gore. Let me try to find... I wonder if I can go to his old YouTube channel, like backdate YouTube. Yes! Oh my god, does this bring back memories? Fuck, man. So yeah, this guy, Ali Larson, Gross Gore, was a RuneScape player. He now plays League of Legends and makes some League of Legends videos. God, the YouTube layout used to be so good. This was... oh my god. This is actually probably a really bad layout, but it's so nostalgic I can't help but think it looks good. But yeah, the point is, RuneScape also introduced me to YouTube because for some reason, RuneScape players got so into YouTube, and there were all these YouTubers. But anyway, at around 2009, after I hit 99 range, I wanted to do something more because I had a lot of fun leveling up to 99 and getting really good at RuneScape as time went on. But at the same time, I thought to myself, you know, RuneScape is not going to be like a great PvP game. It's never going to be a great esport. And esports I had experienced a little bit with Halo. You know, you guys remember Ogre 2, who now plays for CLG, straight ripping with what's his name, T-Squared, Ken, and Super Smash Brothers. I experienced a little bit of esports, and I thought to myself, you know, RuneScape's never going to be a great esport. PKing is great, but it's not like a fantastic PvP game. So I wanted to find a game that I could start playing and get really good at PvP, because I thought it was, for some reason, I just thought being the best in the world at a video game would be so awesome. Being the best ranger in my clan in Knight's Reflection. By the way, this quote, "We have not yet begun to fight," I came up with that when I suggested there was a sailor in the American Navy who was once questioned by the British if he was going to surrender, and then he responded saying, "We've not yet begun to fight." And then I stole that quote and said, "Dude, we should make this our motto, put it in our banners and everything." And then my little place in Knight's Reflection history. Damn. This was so long ago. Little 10-year-old, 11, 12-year-old Nathaniel, 12-year-old Gbay99 trying to leave his mark on the world. But yeah, so I wanted to move on from RuneScape, and I eventually started looking at StarCraft and Counter-Strike. StarCraft 2 was about to come out. Do you guys remember StarCraft? Or not do you guys remember StarCraft, but do you guys remember the World Cyber Games 2009? World Cyber Games 2009 was something I did not get to watch, but had a bunch of amazing matches for both StarCraft and Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike, Strike, WCG 2009... finals. I'm pretty sure it's up on YouTube. Yeah, right here. This match is, in my opinion, the greatest Counter-Strike match that has ever happened. You can search it on YouTube and find it. You will find, I wonder if, I left a comment here. When I first started playing YouTube, or doing YouTube. Yeah, right there. Lol, I come back to watch this for like the 15th time, and I see my name all over the comments because I mentioned it in a video. But this match was, in my opinion, the greatest, probably the greatest esports match that's ever happened. I won't spoil it, but basically, the best team in the world, Fnatic, was going up against this Polish team called Again, or Frag Executors. They had a bunch of different aliases, but the match ends up going into quadruple overtime, or pretty sure 4 overtimes, at least 4 overtimes. And it is just an intense match to watch. I saw the VOD of that when I was looking up all these matches. And by the way, when I was trying to do this, trying to like find a game to go pro in, or find a game that I could try and master and become one of the best in the world in, a really tactful game, a skillful game. that was in the spring, which is why I always, for some reason, every time I feel, winter fading away and then cool spring breezes, I just get all these flashbacks to watching all these Counter-Strike VODs, trying to find a game, playing StarCraft 2, trying to get good. In the spring of 2009, spring of 2010, the spring of 2010, I watched all these VODs. I wanted to find a game to go pro in, and then StarCraft 2 was in its beta at the time. I would watch Husky StarCraft 2 beta, TLO. I would always watch all these beta matches. Does he not have any of them up right now? Tasteless versus Day9. I watched all these beta invitational matches, and my favorite player was the little one, TLO. The little one. And I thought I was going to go pro in StarCraft. I thought StarCraft 2 was going to be my game when it ended up coming out. Yeah, here it is. I thought StarCraft 2 was going to be my game. Actually, no, this is way later. But I thought the point is, I thought StarCraft 2 was going to be the game that I played when it came out. It came out in the summer when I was in vacation in Nags Head, North Carolina with my family. I pretended I was sick so I didn't have to go to the beach one day so I could just stay home and play StarCraft all day. That was really fun. And I sucked at StarCraft at first, but I got bronze, but then I started working to getting better, got silver, got gold. But then the 2010 World Cyber Games rolled around, and I loved the 2009 World Cyber Games, so I was super excited. I remember in high school, I was talking to all of the friends and I had an orchestra about it. I was getting super excited, super hyped for it, and telling them how I would be watching every minute of it. I'd be watching every minute of it, and I watched the Counter-Strike, I watched the StarCraft. There weren't that many impressive games, but then I watched the League of Legends finals, which was there. I remember I went onto the World Cyber Games website, and in StarCraft, you had all these Koreans in the finals. In Counter-Strike, you had all these Europeans in the finals. In I think Warcraft 3 was there. You had some Europeans, but you didn't really have any Americans in the finals or that even qualified that often who did that well at these tournaments. So I started just sort of seeing, is there any American out there any American player, any American team who is going to win something? And there were some American players at that World Cyber Games that I think had already won something or had already placed top 3. But then I saw there was one match that was going to be the grand finals, and it was League of Legends. It was Counter Logic Gaming versus SK Gaming. So I tuned into that. I told all my friends about it. I watched it. The audio cut out for the second game. I'm pretty sure it was the second game. WCG World Finals. Was this game the audio cut out? Just listen to this. Look, that was the quality I watched this video on. That was the quality I watched this event on. You guys are probably like thinking maybe this. What's this stream? This stream is terrible quality. I can't read anything. I can't read any names. No, this was like 240p. They streamed this event in. You couldn't see shit, but I still watched it. I was so intently focused. You can barely make out a Kasdan right there. You can make out Kobe jungling on a Mumu right there. CLG lost the first game, but then came back the second and third game to win both of them, and it was just I got so excited, downloaded the game, and started playing myself, and I was so excited to finally find a game. I thought League of Legends was so fun when I first started playing it. I thought it was so exciting. I just thought it was the bee's knees, and I was so excited to start devoting my time and effort into training to become as good as I could at this game. Spoiler, what the fuck?
They didn't even need to fire off the stun or anything, just stood there and said, yeah.
Yeah, 240p.
So at the moment,
yeah, you can hear the shoutcasters, can't you?
A little bit of a group stage.
That's Demon, and the other one's Freak.
Form up once again. It is 5
you can hear they are not super excited. They're bad shot. This was back when they were really bad at shoutcasting.
The German team at the moment, so I don't think they're not going to push the tower. It's just really going to work it down again. I think that GD's quite happily spraying off the.
Where's Freak? I want to hear Freak.
But we'll see.
There he is.
There for the US team, but I feel like there might have been a kill there. But we'll see.
I don't know why, but I think their older voices are so funny. But yeah, I started playing League of Legends. Look at the like to dislike ratio for this, for that quality. Better graphics, please. Exactly. Yeah, that quality was so bad. How the hell did I make out anything at that tournament? That was so fun to watch, though. But yeah, I started playing League of Legends after that. I landed at 1100 elo after I hit level 30 and started playing ranked. I played every day trying to get better, and I got so mad at my teammates back then. I was the biggest rager in the world when I first started playing and got banned twice because of it. That was before they had the tribunal, and I honestly felt like my second ban was like so quickly after my first ban that there was no way that they thought I should get banned again. They just thought I was convinced that they thought, or they thought like the older reports for the first ban were also carried over into the second one. But yeah, I got banned twice. I was a big rager, punching holes in walls and stuff like that. But then I felt like I was enlightened, like I was Buddha or something. There's a point where I suddenly realized after my second ban, you know what? Raging does not do anything for me. It just gets me banned. I'm going to lose my account and lose any hope I have of going pro along with it. So, you know what? Let's just try to be nice to people. Let's try to not rage in chat. And then I started climbing really quickly after that. I shot from 1100 elo to 1200, and 1200 was the first barrier that I broke. But then 1200 to 1400 got gold, or got silver. I forget what I got in season. I'm getting my timeline a little bit. My timeline's a little bit fuzzy on all this, but I shot up to 1400 elo. Then I went from 14 to 1600 pretty quickly. Then at 1600, I started looking for teams to join. I remember I only ever won a single tournament, and it was when I was at like 17 to 1800 rating, and I think that was like still season 1, because that was still like, you know, that was pretty impressive at the time when all the pros were at highest, like 2000 to 2200. Maybe. But yeah, it was like an amateur tournament that I entered. And then I only entered it as a sub because I was on the forums and I asked some team if I could be their sub as their top laner because they were looking for a new top laner because their top laner had to go on vacation or something and couldn't end up playing in the tournament. I was supposed to win like $100 worth of Razor gear, I think. That was the only prize that there was at the tournament, but I don't think I ever ended up getting it. I lost contact with those guys. But yeah, I ended up joining one team that I was at like 1900. We were all 1900 rated, and that was when all the amateurs at the time were there. And I got to play against a lot of really good people back then. I got to play against Nintendude's team multiple times back when that was Nintendude, Master of LoL, and then a few other people on his team that you guys probably don't remember, but they were like amateurs trying to go pro at the time, and then Nintendude ended up going pro. I don't think Master of LoL ever did, or Tree Eskimo, or any of those guys. I also got to play against Noon's team a lot because that was back when Korean players were all on the North American servers because there was no Korean servers out there. You always hated when you got a Korean on your team because they always had 150, 160 ping. They always only picked Shaco, and you always hated it when you got Brazilians too because they also had 150 ping, always picked Mordekaiser. But yeah, I got to play against Noon top lane multiple times when I was doing ranked 5s on the ladder, and that taught me a lot about how doing well in your lane is not all you need to do to win the game. I killed Noon multiple times actually in all of those games because I was playing Aurelia and I was really good at Aurelia even back then. I killed him 1v1, but he played Jax and he split pushed so hard that we ended up losing. Like, it blew my mind. I killed this guy 1v1, I beat him 1v1, but he still ends up winning the game for his team. Like, how on earth did this happen? Our mid laner on that team was a big rager too. I hated that mid laner. He was like the anti-Gbay. Everything that I stood for at the time, kindness, respecting your teammates, taking responsibility, he was the complete opposite. He was an awful teammate. But we were able to do pretty well with him. The support was a really cool guy too. He was Asian, and he always had sex with a lot of women. And I remember it being so awkward. Every single time we would get in a call talking about scrims, talking about hanging out, just like in-game, trying to practice and stuff, trying to enter the weekly go for lulz. He would always say, okay, yeah, I got to drive this woman back home though. I just had sex with her last night. And I'd be like, okay, I'm still only like 18, 17, 16 at the time. He was like a 22-year-old. I'd be like, okay, keep in mind, I'm still a minor here right now. For some reason, he was always fucking bitches, but, yeah. Eventually, I left that team because I got brick-walled at 1900 to 2000 rating, and then pros kept on getting better. They started rocketing up from 2000 to 2400, 2500, then eventually that one guy on Europe got 3000 elo. He was the only player to ever do it. I forget his name. It started with an F, right? What was his name? Shoot, I forget. But, yeah. At the time, I ended up leaving the team because I wasn't happy with our mid laner, and I wanted to get better and catch up with the pros, not be stuck behind because I wasn't grinding out solo queue to get better mechanics. But being on that team taught me a lot. Being on that team taught me a lot for a long time. And then at the time, I started getting really good. I hit 2000 elo. I started climbing up to almost 2100, and I played against a lot of lower-rated pros, like I mentioned in my video today. I played against Elements, Rainman, Dyrus once, Tree Eskimo, Master of LoL, Phantom Lord, back when Phantom Lord still played League, and he was like known as a really good Karthus player. There was a lot of players that I played against, and I thought I had a real shot of going pro, so I convinced my parents to let me not go to college so I could see if I could make any money in League of Legends, see if I could just do something in League of Legends. I had graduated from high school, and I was trying to go pro, but then I took a vacation with my family, and that was like the death of my pro career, unfortunately. There was this one place. Oh, this is going to give me nostalgic feels. This place in Florida, this island called Gasparilla Island that I used to go to all the time as a kid, and it's just the most beautiful place, the most amazing place. This was like a really cool evening. I was really bad at taking pictures, where it was really sunny on one part of the island, but there was this huge rainstorm on another, and I took a picture of the lightning. There's lightning striking the water right there. You can see a little bit of it. This place, I absolutely love this place and this island, and my father asked me if I wanted to go on a vacation there with my family. So I decided, yeah, I'll go on the vacation, but the vacation ended up being like 2 weeks. When I came back from it, I absolutely sucked dick at League. I dropped down to 1700, then climbed back up to 1900, ended the season at that point, and then the season reset took a very long time to happen for some reason. I forget why, but I think it was the Season 2 to Season 3 reset. Riot was redoing the rating system and stuff, and because it took so long, I had a deadline with my parents with the agreement I made with them. I said, give me until December to make some sort of money and show you guys that I can make money with this game. Show you that I'm good enough at this game that I can turn it into some sort of job for myself. And they said, okay, we can. You don't have to go to school until December, but after December you have to either get a job, be making money with League of Legends, or go back to college. There's some art. I think that was at a museum there. And there were all these lizards on the island. This was like a playground that you just showed up on. It was such a beautiful place. I loved it. I gotta go back there sometime soon. But yeah, so what I did was I got really nervous because I thought, you know, there's not going to be any way that I could prove to my parents I can go pro now, because I don't think there's going to be any tournaments for a while, even minor tournaments that aren't like officially Riot sponsored. I think Riot was setting up the LCS at the time, because this was the end of Season 2, going into Season 3. Even minor tournaments, though, like Go for Lulz, it would be a miracle if I could win one by December. And I got really nervous about that, so I said, you know what? Let me start a YouTube channel and see if I can teach other people everything I've learned. And then Halloween of 2014, I want to say, I released my first video. This is still up on my YouTube channel. It is a really cringy video, if you ask me. It's mostly just because I sound so weird in it, I think. Because I tried to make my voice sound deeper. I wasn't happy with the way my voice sounded. And then here it is. This was... It has almost 400,000 views, and I had a pretty good like to dislike ratio. If you see the comments, if you go all the way down to the bottom, you will see Gross Gore, this YouTuber from Runescape who I watched for the longest time, made the first comment, and he had started playing League of Legends, so I talked to him about it a little bit. There it is. Yes, Nathan, my man. I hope Season 3 is going to be great for us, mate, and you are one of many top ELO players that also told me that playing one champion is a great way of boosting your ELO. You should post this on Reddit. I'm sure you'll get a few mountain of views. I will like the video so some League players can watch, and hopefully it'll help them. Damn, man. God, this is so long ago. And this guy, this RuneScape YouTuber that I knew for the longest time as like a fan, he supports me on my first video ever. That brought a tear to my little Gbay heart. I was so happy and excited about that. God damn. Thank you, Groscore. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. You guys have seen the rest of it. You guys have seen everything else that's happened on YouTube. But I've had quite a journey, haven't I? Talking about history. History is like one of my favorite subjects in school, and I just love talking history. Oh, excuse me. History is such a cool topic for me because history determines, I shouldn't say determines, but history influences where a person will go, and history is what molds us into who we are, I feel. I don't think that there is any chance I will be the same person I am today if I didn't play Halo. I don't think there's any chance I wouldn't be the same person I am today if I didn't play RuneScape. If I didn't join Knight's Reflection, I would not be as good at debating. I would not be as good as a lot of things I do. And if I never had Blues M&M Blues M&M in that guild, then I would never be as motivated of a person as I am today, I think. If I never hit 99 range, I would never have thought I could ever accomplish anything in life. If I had never started playing RuneScape, I never would have hit 99 range. Gbay feels. I'm crying. RuneScape, Halo, all the people that I've known, all the people that have ever come in contact with me, that I've ever had a conversation with, that I've ever met online, that I've ever chatted with, that I've ever played a game with, and every game that I've ever played has all made me into Gbay99, and I like who I am. I'm very thankful for all of it.